welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. We're going to talk about Raw from May 8th, 2023, a disastrous letdown after Backlash. Backlash had everybody so hyped and excited, and then Raw immediately snatched all the energy out of your soul and flung it in the opposite direction. And now you have to wait for your soul to crawl back like one of these wrestlers climbing a ladder or something like that. It's just going to crawl on the belly, fighting and scratching to get back to you, because this was an absolutely empty show. Like, a lot of stuff happened, but nothing, too exciting occurred. The tournament was the major focus of the episode, which is expected, but just other than that, nothing moved forward on this show. Everything is the same as it was 2 weeks ago. Cody Rhodes comes out, talks about how he discovered that Brock Lesnar can be defeated, and that fighting Brock was a fight for survival, but it took away his focus. And now that it's done, Brock Lesnar is in the rearview mirror, it's time to move on to the World Heavyweight Championship. The people started chanting, "You deserve it." And before Cody can really turn on the juice, as they say, Seth Rollins came out there. They had a little bit of a stare down. They teased that this might be tonight's main event before Seth Rollins went to the ring for his match. Now, they're doing this gimmick now for Seth Rollins where he stands in the ring with the spotlight and the people are supposed to continuously sing his song. But Jacksonville blows, so they were off key, and some of them were, like, oh my God. You literally watched other people do this for weeks. You finally get the opportunity to do it and you can't get it right. What's wrong? What's the problem? Is there something in the water in Florida that it must be too much AEW down there? I don't know what's going on. Speaking of AEW, Cody Rhodes did make the little offhand comment that Jacksonville and him made some memories during the pandemic. It was his home. I was like, yay, that was nice. So Seth Rollins was there. He was in the opening triple threat match versus Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura. Damian Priest says that Bad Bunny did his thing, but it took the whole island to take him down. While tonight he's going to take out Nakamura and Seth Rollins solo. And that he's going to see whether it's Damian Priest or Finn Balor that's going to bring the title home to Judgment Day. Spoilers, it was neither one. Now, on a positive note, Damian Priest continued to sell his ankle. I like the commitment to the bit. I like the commitment to the match. I like that, they showed that the match mattered, that the match actually occurred. Too bad the match apparently didn't matter, because the guy who lost is a guy who is going to be in the title picture. I don't understand why Damian Priest is in this match. He just lost to a rapper. I'm sorry, that makes you not qualified to be world championship material. Look, I understand that we all agree his stock was definitely increased after he worked with Bad Bunny. Absolutely increased. But how about taking a couple of weeks to rebuild him first? And then, he literally just lost in front of the world. And we're going to put him in a position to be the world champion. That really makes you like you have a thin roster, if we're being honest. Which is part of the issue, I guess you could say. You definitely should have replaced him with somebody else. I mean, I like Damian Priest, but he literally just got beat. Literally just got beat by a rapper. Come on, it's ridiculous. The match was fairly solid. Shinsuke Nakamura was working the leg of Damian Priest. He actually had him in a knee bar, where Seth Rollins came in with the frog splash, which broke that up. It was immediately followed with the pedigree and the pinfall. Seth Rollins defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. They didn't do the stupid, I stole your pin gimmick, where one guy throws the other one outside the ring. So that improved my enjoyment of the match, but minimally, I can say. All right, so one half of this match is put together. It's Seth Rollins. Now, again, Seth Rollins has been, I was about to say fingered. Screw it, fingered to be the world champion for at least since the title was announced. So it's hard to get too excited about this thing when we pretty much saw this coming 3 weeks ago, right? We figured it might be a little bit more exciting than this, but they decided no, that we're going to do this in a very missionary kind of way, where you know what you're expecting and, let's just get it done. Okay. This is not for your enjoyment. This is for procreation. This is not for your enjoyment. The Miz, he's talking about being a history maker and the only true workhorse in WWE. And then he goes out there for his match with Finn Balor and Cody Rhodes. The Miz is, like Damian Priest, has absolutely no business being in a triple threat match anywhere near a world title. The Miz has not won a match in 2023, I fear. I don't know if he has. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, though. I'm pretty sure he hasn't. But whatever. Somebody's got to take the pinfall, right? So, Cody nearly wins the match. He's got the Miz beat with like 3 crossroads because he's stunting on the Miz. All of a sudden, Brock Lesnar snatches him out of the ring, F5 on the floor. Finn Balor catches the Miz with the coup de grace. He gets the pin and then gets the hell out of there. Brock then picks up Cody, F5 through the table. Then he kind of starts manhandling Cody, and the camera gets really close to Brock's face, and you can see the stitches in his head and the black eye that he's gotten, and he looks like he's been through some shit, It's worthwhile. He's got the Frankenstein scars all on his face and everything. It's gnarly. It looks great. So he tries to talk into a microphone that doesn't work. But apparently it doesn't matter. The cameraman just got closer, People in the arena, I don't know what you were going to do about it. Sad to say. But the cameraman just got closer to Brock as Brock mocked Cody, saying, "What do you want to talk about?" And he kept saying, "Look at my face! Look at my face!" And he said he want to talk about him, he want to talk about himself, he want to talk about a fight. Me. He wants to talk about a fight. Night of Champions. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar. Who's the coward now? So he leaves Cody in a absolute mess outside the ring, and he goes to the back. And I was thinking, like, wow, Brock has done terrible things to people for far less. Like, he beat Cody's ass far worse just after WrestleMania for literally no reason. This guy has torn his face up, and Brock, like, okay, this F5 through the table, that's enough. I'm satisfied. After, this guy, it was a couple of weeks ago, he just couldn't stop whooping Cody Rhodes' ass. He just beat him dreadfully, just beat him to death. I don't understand. What happened to proportional damage? Also, a lot of people have been trying to bust my chops on this whole Brock Lesnar. Oh, he got the blood the hard way. There was no blade. Look, they removed the turnbuckle pad to expose it for a reason. I'm telling you, there was some magic involved in it. They did show the replay where you see his head hit the turnbuckle so that you see there was no blade. But who's to say there wasn't a blade on the turnbuckle? Anyway, it was very ugly. There was definitely some magic to it because the blood was planned. And hard way is unplanned blood. This was planned. Okay, so argue amongst yourselves with that. I'm too jaded to believe that this was a complete hard way. It's ridiculous. No, they planned on that. Later, Cody is, he doesn't feel too good because he got beat up by Brock. Said the tournament was his to win. He doesn't really have much to say. Then he said this is the second time Brock Lesnar has attacked him for no reason and from behind. And he thinks that Brock Lesnar is worried about his spot. That Brock Lesnar's monopoly on the main event has been loosening because for the last several months, Cody has been the man around here. And as far as the fight at Night of Champions, he accepts. And I'm interested in that. And I kind of figured this was coming. I think most of us did. It's not like you had to be Nostradamus. If you saw the finish to that match, you knew this shit wasn't over with. You knew Brock wasn't going to let that lay like that. I mean, you already know. Oh, you survived Brock Lesnar. Oh, really? You think you're just going to roll Brock Lesnar up and then he's just going to go home back to his ranch? Oh, no. Nobody's a fool. We knew Brock was coming back to whoop that ass. We knew that was happening. I thought it was going to be worse for Cody this time. I thought he was going to bust him open, like take his gloves off and punch him in the head 100 times until he started bleeding. Like he did with Randy Orton, just kind of elbow strike him to death. That's what I was expecting. But that might be what we get in Saudi Arabia. And we're not going to get it on TV. To continue the storyline of the tournament, The Miz, after he lost, he went to bother Shinsuke Nakamura and continued to push this Miz-K thing where Nakamura just challenged him to a singles match next week. And I was like, oh, no, we don't need that. Don't need that. Don't want it. Don't need it, don't want it. I don't know, whatever. Moving on. The main event of the evening, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Finn Balor did not talk at all throughout this entire episode. He had nothing to say on the possibility of becoming the world champion. He had nothing to say. Seth Rollins went through this entire tournament, had nothing to say. No conversation about who his opponent is. No, nothing. Just no build up, just matches. These guys were just bodies slamming into each other with the goal of each one of them trying to make it to the finals of being the world champion. It's like, okay, how about we just take a couple of minutes? And there was some completely useless garbage on this show. Maybe we could have cut out the useless garbage and we could have talked about their history at SummerSlam. What was it, 7 years ago that they had the big Universal Championship match at SummerSlam? And built upon that, even if it was just a short segment where the two of them got in each other's faces. And, Finn Balor saying how he beat Seth Rollins with one arm before. Now he's got two good arms. He's going to finish him for good or whatever. And, Seth may be laughing in his face and saying, that was then, this is now, yada, yada, yada. But to build some heat for this was completely heatless. So Finn Balor was defeated by Seth Rollins because, obviously, interesting spot in this match, a callback to SummerSlam 2016, when Finn Balor did the buckle bomb on the the barricade, similar to what Seth Rollins did to him, that destroyed his shoulder and cost him the Universal title. And I like that. I think that was great. I wish they would have played it up more in the match. And again, that tells me they should have played it up before the match too, but missed opportunity. The big finish came from Seth Rollins doing a reverse stomp where he stomped him in the face, actually. And then it led to the stomp from the back of the neck and the pinfall. I like the variations that they're doing with Seth Rollins' finish now, where he's just doing it from different positions and he's doing it in different ways. I like that. They're adding weapons to his to his arsenal. He even he pinned Shinsuke Nakamura with a pedigree. Like, that was cool. That was good. This match was solid as hell. Balor is great, but he's not going anywhere fast. It's just unfortunate that this is the situation that he finds himself in. And that since everybody kind of has earmarked Seth Rollins to be the guy, this is what we're stuck with, And again, very unfortunate for the rest of us. Not that I don't like Seth Rollins, but it's boring when you know that this guy is just going to basically cakewalk through the entire tournament because, adding any sort of element of danger to this thing is not warranted for some reason. That's why it should have been singles matches, and it could have been much harder. It could have been a little bit tougher. It could have had some time to tell stories in between, build it up, or maybe even in the good old days, he'd have come into this match with an injury, where somebody would have took a chunk out of him. Like, let's say, you would have had, I don't know, maybe Damian Priest or Dominic or somebody hit him in the knee with a pipe, and then he would have came into this match injured. That would have added a little bit more to the match, but considering I knew from the first bell of the first match on this show, Seth Rollins was winning and there was nothing that anybody's going to do about it, it sucked away my enjoyment of it. Maybe you're not as jaded as I am, but I was like, okay, let's just get through this. because you're clearly not going to swerve anybody. We all saw the Brock thing coming too. I thought Brock was going to kill him in the opening segment. Once the match started going, I was like, okay, Brock's going to kill him during the match. And that's, that's what it was. And I thought it was going to be like a stretcher spot. So that's why I'm kind of surprised at how tame Brock's attack was. But Seth Rollins coming out of the Raw side, you didn't need binoculars or a fisheye lens or contact lenses or a UV light or anything like that to see that coming. Everybody knew that was going to happen. So this, again, dragged for me. Maybe you're not as jaded as I am, but I'm pretty damn jaded. And I was bored by the idea that, Seth Rollins was just going to walk through the Raw side. It seemed to make no sense to me, but it also didn't make any sense to swerve anybody. So you could have at least made it exciting, but they failed to even do that. Now the SmackDown side is a little bit more interesting. Their 2 triple threat matches feature Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory in one of them. In this match, I know a lot of people have, been kind of bitching about the Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley thing. And they literally just had a triple threat match at Backlash. So I'm kind of rolling my eyes at that. I definitely think that Lashley should win that match, but I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't seem like Lashley is high up on the interest level of, the Triple H regime. They feel like they have to put him out there, but they don't have to put any emphasis on him. And since his storyline is with Austin Theory, I can pretty much see them spinning out of this, continuing to do that thing, and I don't see the point in that. But definitely Bobby Lashley should win. If I had to venture a guess, I'm probably going to say Austin Theory is going to win. Because there's only one heel in this entire bracket. Okay, so I'm going to go with the one heel in the entire bracket. Now, the final triple threat match is an absolute banger on paper. AJ Styles, Edge, and Rey Mysterio. That is tremendous. That's a lot of goddamn talent in one match. Any one of those guys alone would be a worthy world champion. And it's a legitimate toss-up for me. I probably would go with AJ Styles. I don't know why, but it just feels like he's on the rebound. He's coming back. But at the same time, they just brought back Nakamura and beat him in the first match too. So, in the first real match he's had, not outside of him beating up jobbers. So maybe they'll do the same thing to AJ Styles where he'll get in there and he'll end up getting pinned by Edge or something like that. But AJ Styles is my first choice. So in reality, I want AJ and Lashley as the 2 guys in the SmackDown final. And then maybe have AJ Styles win the SmackDown side, and it's AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. I don't think anybody will complain about that, but I don't think anybody would complain about Seth Rollins versus Edge again, even though maybe some people would complain. Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio is excellent. That's top level business right there. Seth Rollins versus Sheamus, versus Austin Theory. Well, I feel like we've seen that match 100 times already. And the same thing with, Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry. I feel like we've seen that a bunch of times this year too. So I think the fresher opponents is in the bigger triple threat match. And I think that's where his opponent is going to come from. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles. Edge doesn't need to be the champion. Neither does Rey. And neither does Styles, to be honest. Hell, neither does Seth Rollins, if we're being honest. But, they're not in a position to actually make any new characters or build anybody up, so they're just putting established names in there, with the exception of Damian Priest. They're just putting established names in this field. And, could have had a more interesting tournament if we did it singles, but this triple threat match is going to be dope. Edge, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles are going to be a very creative match. It ought to make a lot of people pay attention, because it's definitely because it's not, at least for right now, like who knows what they're going to do on the show that may actually tip their hand. But at least, as I sit here right now, I don't see any reason to favor any one person in that match. So that match is a lot more exciting than the rest of this shit has been. But I'm still not a big fan of this whole triple threat tournament. And I'm not a big fan of we just going to create a consolation prize for Seth Rollins and all the other belly achers. Drew McIntyre apparently is one of them. And, you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom coming out of the Drew McIntyre. He's frustrated. He's upset. But, you know, I'm like, come on. Unless you hear from Drew himself or something like that, I wouldn't take it seriously. Clearly he's injured or something like that right now, so it's not like he's going to come out and say anything, make any kind of statement. If he pops up in AEW or something like that, then we'll know he's gone. Until then, he's under contract, and there's really no point in going back and forth about it. All right, so the tournament stuff is going to continue on SmackDown. Yippee. Oh, boy. Now they got the NXT Women's Title Tournament is also up. I guess I'll do a little bit of a conversation on that, but it's probably going to be a little bit later. So, because it's going to be the only time I got an opportunity to talk about that before the show actually occurs. So Imperium is walking around Kaiser is the town crier. Hear ye, hear ye. The ring gonna die. It'll be coming next week. Did you hear me? The ring gonna die. It'll be next week. I'm just thinking, like, why is he doing this? Like, he should have more class than just be walking around. The ring gonna die. Will be here next week. The ring gonna die. And I'm like, oh boy, he being annoying again. So, they run into Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They immediately get brushed off. They get into a war of words with them, and that leads to them being challenged to a match. Kevin Owens is, of course, a fat goof. He actually belittles Imperium by saying, oh, these guys are just Gunther's henchmen. What is up with everybody having henchmen these days? Like, what's the deal with henchmen? And then you got the audience clap. I'm saying, Roman's got henchmen. Gunther's got henchmen. I think I need henchmen. What does it take for you to be a hench? How do you become a hench, actually? His goofball antics continued when he mocked Imperium during their entrance. They're doing that, you know, the whole hands behind the back thing, and he's in the background waving at his mom and basically just mocking Imperium. So they're not being taken seriously, which is already a departure from what they were doing on SmackDown. And since they're a joke, they, of course, lose to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which is fine because they're the tag team champions. At the same time, though, when are these guys going to get into a feud that's not with the Usos? You know? Like, why can't Imperium be a team that they feud with? Why do they have to go out there and lose to them? Why? Why do they have to do that? Why was this necessary? Why was belittling these guys necessary? And then we go through all this trouble of how, you know, Gunther is going to do this and he's going to do that. And, you know, these guys get their asses kicked. Okay, great. So if you've never seen Gunther before, you're new to him. This is your introduction that his henchmen that Kevin Owens says are panty waists that Kevin Owens can make fun of and then beat. So you don't need to pay too much attention to them. So, you know, praise God for all the character development that we're doing here. The character development, they're developing Kevin Owens, he's bringing out, his personality. He's, making fun of these guys. They're kind of stuffy, you know, kind of stuffed suit guys, kind of sticks in the mud, horse shit. This stupid fucking match. Dumbest match in the world. Otis versus Mustafa Ali. A match that want me to put my head through my TV. Why would you book this? Because Otis has two managers apparently. Maxine Dupree and Chad Gable. And because they were arguing about whether he should do the caterpillar or not, he loses to Mustafa Ali, who never fucking wins. A 450 splash it took him forever to do. And Mustafa Ali beats Otis. And we don't get any storyline reason for this. No storyline furthering over this. Just both of them collectively are idiots and cost Otis this match, which should have been completely and totally embarrassing because he lost to Mustafa Ali. But I'm putting too much energy into it. Let's move on. Rhea Ripley versus, quote, hashtag give Dana Brooke a chance. Yes, I saw it. I did see it. It was trending for a short amount of time. I decided not to go down that well because it's so pathetic and it's so beneath me. And so, look, I don't hate Dana Brooke. I really don't. I think that if you're going to have her on the roster, she should do something. I like that she speaks up for herself. Like, she's like, hey, I want to do stuff. I want to try. Give me an opportunity. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think this was the right opportunity, however. She's wrestling Rhea Ripley. So, you know, this match is not going to be long. And it's going to consist mostly of Rhea Ripley kicking her ass. Like, how does that really help Dana Brooke? It doesn't. Does it really give Dana Brooke a chance? It doesn't. This match was less than 5 minutes, which is, by all means, that's fine. For a cold match between two women, I'm good with that. But if this was going to be your response to give Dana Brooke a chance, which it probably wasn't. It probably just reminded them that Dana Brooke was even there. And it was short, sweet. Rhea Ripley wins with her little submission hold. Who gives a shit? So after the match, Rhea Ripley decides she's going to continue to pummel Dana Brooke. So we're all sitting back saying to ourselves, who in the world is going to save Dana Brooke? This ought to be interesting. It could be anybody. It could be a surprise. I was told there was going to be a surprise tonight. Could be a surprise opponent. It could be somebody new from NXT. It could be, Raquel. It could be Liv. It could be anybody. It's Natalya. It's Natalya. Natalya back down Rhea Ripley. For fuck's sake. This is worse than getting trapped in a Kane feud. There was a time, bro, where guys got caught in a Kane feud. You guaranteed it was over for you. No matter what you were, you could carry any belt in the world. If you got trapped in a Kane feud, you were dead in the water. It even happened to John Cena. The rise above hate thing, it was like a vortex. And if you got caught feuding with Kane, it was over for you. Big Show was even worse. Big Show was like a black hole. Anybody that came in the orbit of Big Show for like 5 or 10 years was just absolutely ruined. He came out, you came out undoubtedly worse. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, just so many guys, John Cena, Triple H for a while there. I mean, just, if you feuded with the Big Show, you were clearly less over afterwards. And he wasn't even more over. It's just that people didn't care. It was a collective bathroom break for everybody. The Big Show was a momentum killer. Then Kane became a momentum killer. But Natalya, for the last 3 or 4 years, she is easily the girl Big Show. She's babyface. She's heel. Nobody cares either way. They just keep flip-flopping her. Nobody cares. You can turn her on her head. Nobody cares. She can put on a bikini. Nobody cares. She can wear sneakers. She can wear heels. Nobody gives a fuck. She can keep tweaking her face where she looks like the High Evolutionary with the shit pulled all the way back. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about Natalya at all, period. Natalya can stand in the middle of the ring, set herself on fire, and people will look up and then go back to looking at their phone. I'm certain that at this point, wrestling fans will do anything rather than watch a Natalya match. They'll go knitting rather than watch Natalya. They'll rather watch paint dry, watch grass grow, do anything other than to watch a Natalya match. And yet WWE consistently gets you a shovel full of Natalya and tries to dump it into your eyeballs every couple of weeks. You gotta be kidding me. What makes Natalya a top contender? She fucking sucks. I don't even know the last thing she did. She sucks so bad. My God, bro. Damn it. God damn it. She sucks so bad. It's painful. Rhea Ripley was actually she was doing quite well. She was having fun. You know, we're all having fun. Rhea Ripley is doing her thing. And then they trot out old Natalya because apparently Rhea Ripley was doing too damn good. And somebody had to be like, you know, this Rhea Ripley train, how do we take it off the tracks? Well, here's what we could do. I got an idea. How about we have our own version of a protest and we clog up the train tracks with Natalya and all her fake boobs and fake lips and everything she got going on here. The crazy cat lady of WWE. How about we just throw her right on the goddamn rail so it can't go no further? And everybody, it's a good idea. Character development. How are you developing Rhea Ripley this way? This is a devolution of Rhea Ripley. This sucks. I feel bad for Rhea. Poor Rhea. For Christ's sake, you're trapped in a forever feud with Natalya. It's like being in a Chinese finger trap. The more you fight it, the worse it gets. I don't know how you get out of this. I don't see how you get out of this unscathed. I'm sorry. On a positive note, let's talk about Rhea Ripley. I actually did not notice that she started doing the whole Dom stuff. I didn't pay attention to it. I really, really didn't. So, at Backlash, she was wearing tights that had Dom on the butt cheeks, which was hilarious. Tonight, she had Dom written on her face, which was all very nice. But it was, what made it even funnier is I wouldn't have even noticed it, to be quite honest, if it wasn't for, Buddy Matthews tweeting about it. Now, I don't follow wrestlers, but people was talking about the tweet that he made that, you know, oh, Dom's name is on it, but I get to touch it or some shit he said. It was goofy. And people were like, he is so insecure. And I was thinking to myself, you're like, you know what? I'm actually going to give them a point on that. Like, bro, we don't need to know that that's your girlfriend. You don't have to keep telling us. Okay. We know. All right. We get it. You're fucking Rhea Ripley. We get it. And she's in a gimmick over here. They're not even kissing, her and Dominic. She's just doing stuff with Dominic in terms of like, they're doing stuff in public and they're doing things with each other's characters where he's wearing her shirt and she's wearing like putting his name on her butt and that kind of stuff. It ain't serious. They ain't doing like makeout segments or nothing like that. So we don't have to like keep reminding people, like keep me in the front of your mind when you're thinking about this. It's like just relax. Okay. Like just chill. Like, it ain't necessary, you know, just fall back just a little bit, just back up, give them some space, please. You know, you're hogging up all the air in this room here. I need you to back up just a little bit. But I mean, I get why he would be that way. You know, he can't be with her all the time. She's on the road and everything, but you come across kind of smothering and insecure, bro. You know, chill. I mean, I like Buddy Matthews and all, but I mean, relax. You know, he's got decent taste. Because Rhea Ripley, before she did all that shit to her ears and everything, was beautiful. She was gorgeous, and he also used to date Alexa Bliss, so he's got good taste. It's just that you know, just pipe down. You know, we're doing a gimmick over here. This ain't serious. All right, you know how this thing works. You worked in this system before. It ain't serious. You can relax. I'm trying to take your mind away from you, okay? All right. Let's move on. Fuck Natalya, by the way. Zoe Stark boring ass is on TV. She's talking about how she was amazing and she has total confidence in her abilities to do what she does. And then she says she's going to walk around Raw for some reason. So she walks and she finds Nikki Cross sitting there, you know, twiddling her thumbs and picking her teeth or whatever. Says that Nikki Cross is a weirdo. How about she fights Nikki Cross in a match tonight? Nikki Cross accepts. And I was like, why? Why do we need this? Why not just let Zoe Stark cut her promo, talk about herself a little bit, put herself over a little bit, and then maybe make this match for next week? We're character development, developing characters. Clearly not. Hey, what happened to that Nikki Cross, Candice LeRae storyline that has been going on for months? where she's just been dangling around Candice LeRae, giggling and running away and all this kind of stuff. Whatever happened to that? Where was the resolution to that story? Since we're developing characters, Mr. Character Development guy. I forgot. Nikki Cross, she went to college or something. I don't know. She gets kind of lost in the shuffle. I don't care, man. Look, it's not even the point that I care about Nikki Cross at all. I don't. She sucks. But I can think of 100 interesting things to do with her since she's on the roster already, and you don't believe in firing her. You could literally do something else. I mean, she should be handling, and I think we had something with Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. I think they were the tag team champions maybe 2 years ago. But I think this version of Nikki Cross actually works as a sort of underling for Rhea Ripley. Like, she should be a member of Judgment Day. Rhea needs help, and Dominic is good for that. But she also needs help on the women's side, where somebody to fight her battles on her behalf, so she won't have to, wrestle the Dana Brooks of the world. Somebody else could do that, and she can actually save the bumps on herself for somebody else. And plus, I think it's time for, Judgment Day to expand a little bit, And plus, it's just easy for something for her to do, It's just an easy fix in terms of Nikki Cross needs something to do. Rhea Ripley could use another underling. So this could work. But instead, we're just going to have Nikki Cross hanging out near structures in the dark, picking her nose. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, but, Zoe Stark wins, so I guess you're happy. You're a work rate guy. You're happy, right? Zoe Stark won. Yay. Now, speaking of Rhea Ripley, her and Dominic are backstage. They're celebrating. And when Akira Tozawa and Xavier Woods, which is basically like an odd couple, they're laughing loudly and being super annoying. Again, I have this big problem with babyfaces being really, really annoying. An obnoxious babyface isn't good. People want to see the obnoxious babyface get beat up. That's what they want to see. And Xavier Woods ended up being the obnoxious babyface. That dude gets on people's nerves. That is the opposite of what you're supposed to do as a babyface. Anyway, Dominic Mysterio decides he's going to check Xavier and Akira Tozawa. So he checks Xavier, ends up getting challenged to a match. Tozawa ends up backing away because he's had a run-in with Rhea Ripley before, and he was like, "Oh, no mas. No habla inglés." Even though he's Japanese, while he's speaking Spanish, I don't know. Everybody speaks Spanish nowadays except me. So, they had the match. Dominic wins. Match was entirely too long. My energy was sapped from that match. I was like, oh my God, I can't imagine a match that I care about less right now than Dominic Mysterio and Xavier fucking Woods. Oh my God. Xavier Woods is so stale. My goodness. If you went into like your closet at your childhood home and you found an unchewed pack of gum from 1998, that shit still ain't as stale as the New Day. My Lord, bro. This shit is so stale. It should have a tree growing out of it at this point. This shit is all bad. Why can't we do something different with these fucking guys, man? Why it's gotta be the same stuff? Character development, developing the characters, you ain't developing shit. You ain't developing shit. You ain't developing nothing. Nothing. Not one damn thing. Everything is how it used to be. Well, I went on a rant about that not being one thing. There is one thing. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. They're backstage collecting signatures to have a petition for a rematch with the tag team champions. Now, in doing so, they end up they bully some people into signing their petition. And then they get to Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, who refused. And among them, just passed the petition around. Johnny Gargano refused to sign it, and Dexter Lumis gave them the thumbs down before giving them the petition back. They told them that you'll regret this when we're the champions, and then they leave. But this is The Way being reunited on Raw, as if anybody watched NXT gives a fuck about The Way. Okay. So nothing much happened except Johnny Gargano says that he's coming back soon. So that leads a lot of people to think that the second person is actually going to be Tommaso Ciampa. He's going to be a member of The Way. He's going to end up taking Austin Theory's spot, which was the male bimbo high school quarterback spot. I don't know if he can fit that, but he'll probably just do something else. To me, it seems like DIY forming to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is a fun idea, especially if you're an indie wrestling fan. You know, that match stands out for you as something that you really want to see. But to me, it seems like if I have to go through DIY again just to get to Tommaso Ciampa being solo again, that's fine. Because I really, really, really like Tommaso Ciampa by himself. Even though he's small, he's very good. Takes good bumps. Knows how to work his character. Not uber charismatic, but good enough to carry a feud. Very professional. I like the guy. I like him a lot more than I like Johnny Gargano. So if I got to go through DIY and before he turns and stabs Johnny Gargano in the back, I'm okay with this. In terms of The Way with Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis and all them, this is going to crash and burn. This is not NXT. These aren't people starved for, attention. This is probably going to suck. Unless they start doing skits, this is going to be the shits. So they better get on the skits almost immediately. The skits is what got it over with me. And I hate the Garganos. I hate them. So the skits is what made it fun. So they need to go make skits immediately. All right, so once they left The Way, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville were walking around, still getting people to sign their petition. Then Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville were confronted by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who told them that if they wanted a rematch, all they had to do was ask. Then they signed the petition. And then Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville was like, well, it seems you have the wrong idea. We were expecting to wrestle Damage Control. We're not. You guys are going to lose the Damage Control, and then we'll challenge them. And then they laughed in their face, and that struck me because I was like, oh no, Damage Control getting another title match. Oh no. Oh no. This time it's going to be Bayley and Dakota Kai. Oh no. Well, they did win on SmackDown, so I guess they're entitled to one. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Not a huge fan. Not a big fan at all of that. Now there is this thing. Let's talk about this for a moment. There was a rumor that was floating around over, I think, Sunday, that Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville were going to have a picket line where they were going to boycott Monday Night Raw or go on strike or something like that in order to get a rematch for the tag team titles. And this was floating around the internet for like a few hours. And, of course, everybody's like, oh, WWE is in such poor taste. They see these writers out there fighting for their lives and they're going to mock them. It's clearly a Vince idea. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure people have newspapers. It's like, not like Vince McMahon, the only person in the world that reads a newspaper or watch the news or anything like that. So I guess maybe that was the original idea and then it got out and so they switched it to the petitions, but there's no way of knowing, what was originally the idea or how this was going to work out, but it ended up being essentially the same thing. Them going around trying to get other people to join them to apply pressure to Adam Pearce to get them a title shot. The idea that they would have a picket line and they would quote unquote go on strike, it's well within their characters, actually. If you really think about it, they're professional complainers. So why wouldn't they have a picket line? Why wouldn't they try to get people to, like, I think it would have been funny. If they'd have done it that way, it would have been funny. Of course, people would have been like, the writers, we need the writers. It's like, we kind of don't, but okay. But I wish they had done it. That's one of the few times where instead of attacking the wrestling media and saying that what they said was going to happen didn't happen and how you shouldn't listen to them, I'm going to say I wish that was the case. I really wish that they had done a spoof of the writer's strike on Monday Night Raw. That would have fucking ruled. All right. Especially if they'd have had signs similar to the signs, that those goofballs had at the writer's strike. It would have been funny, and it would have been the writers making fun of writers. It'd been the writers at WWE making fun of the writers at Hollywood. We got jobs. We're working. You guys are eating free pizza given to you by multimillionaire actors and shit. We actually work for a living. You guys want to fart around with your Hollywood friends. In any event, that didn't occur. So what we got was the petitions instead. And that's fine. Not too upset about that. But Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are a good pair. I like them. I think Carmella will work excellent with them, but of course she can't be on TV right now. Okay, Indus Sher, they're going to be on Monday Night Raw. They are emerging from the shadows. The shadows of NXT, the shadows of India, the Indian Lions, Indus Sher. Okay. Hopefully they actually get to do something this time and they don't just come out there and just be like Raw's version of the Viking Raiders. Wait, are the Viking Raiders on Raw now or are they still on SmackDown? Somebody knows. In any event, I get big Viking Raiders energy from Indus Sher and I hope I'm wrong. And I hope Sanga and Veer actually get to do some stuff because I'm still an unironic supporter of Jinder Mahal. All right. So the final thing I think here is Trish Stratus. So Trish Stratus was walking around backstage, putting up stickers and notes looking for Becky Lynch. Where is Becky Lynch? Have you seen her? I see her face everywhere I go on the street, even at the picture show. Have you seen her? Oh, tell me, have you seen her? And so she's plastering pictures all over the place. So have you seen Becky Lynch? Where's Becky Lynch? So then she comes out once again, not very good when it comes to the promo. It's actually kind of weird. The crowd is very, very quiet. They're very, very quiet, super quiet. And then they're wedding too. So these people get on my nerves. I hate these people. She's out there. She claims that she's going to find Becky Lynch eventually. And then everybody's going to thank her. They're going to say, thank you, Trish. After she finds and brings back Becky Lynch. Then she says that she's sure that Becky Lynch is somewhere in Iowa, cuddling in a corner with her dumb daughter. And then people was like, oh, why would you say that? And she's like, well, the kid doesn't know her colors. She's 2. She is dumb. And I was like, wow. Wow. That was a good one. Out of this whole dumbass promo, that was actually pretty good. You called a 2-year-old dumb because she don't know her colors. Like, God, what 2-year-old does know their colors? Sheesh. That's tough. Tough parenting. She started talking about a doll or some other shit. I was like, I don't know what's going on at this point. I was just kind of flummoxed by the kid is dumb because she's 2. I was like, wow. Trish started saying how nobody will share in her spotlight. Nobody's going to steal her spotlight from this point forward. And then Becky Lynch's music plays. Everybody gets up. They're so excited. And it's a joke. Trish Stratus like, I got you, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. She continues with this bullshit promo. And then the music plays again. And she's like, no, that was only supposed to be played once. And of course, at this point, we realize that the real Becky Lynch is going to come out there. She shows up behind Trish Stratus and she gets a couple of licks in before Trish bails. And Becky Lynch, the man is coming around. The man is here to kick your ass. And I was like, oh, God. It's time to take this old bird to the back, too. Our good friend Society Movies over on Twitter made a good comment when he said that Becky Lynch looks 10 years older than Trish Stratus and she's actually 10 years younger. I think it's that rough Irish life. Uh, Trish continues to look great. I mean, boobs just doing their thing. Figure is very nice. Tan is always nice. Becky Lynch, I'm not sure people are as into this feud as she would hope. Like I said, the crowd is not as up as they should be. I don't know if it was Jacksonville. I don't know if it's Trish's promos not getting over. Maybe it's people not wanting to boo Trish. I don't know what it is. But this has been lackluster. And I think part of it has also been that Trish hasn't been there every week. And Becky hasn't been there for a while. I think Becky getting hurt pretty much immediately and having to take that time off slowed everything down. And some people are kind of like, oh, I forgot this feud was even still going on. You know, when it could have just been some very short 30-second promos where Trish could have kept talking trash about Becky Lynch and promos that we aired on TV. And, you know, basically taunting Becky and saying, I'm going to be there on Raw on this date and I dare you to show up and all that kind of stuff. And then Becky Lynch doesn't show up. And we could have just keep doing that until Becky Lynch eventually shows up, which I think would have built up the intensity a little bit more. But I don't think people are as into this feud as they would have expected. It's coming across as very limp, you know, but I don't know. This was not strong from Trish Stratus, her second not strong promo segment. I don't know what more they can do. They're trying, though. They're trying very, very hard. And I'm not so sure that them trying this hard is actually working out. I'm just not sure that they're trying very hard is working out for the best. All right, so that's Monday Night Raw. The show dragged. I mean, my God, did it drag. It kicked my ass. It really did. I was like, oh my Jesus, I don't know what to do with myself. This tournament is not a real tournament. It's not mano a mano. These guys are not cutting promos about what the title means to them, you know, the opportunity or, you know, a chance at redemption. Or you would think every single person in the tournament should have something to say about the tournament. Like, that was a positive thing about, like, the Royal Rumble, right? They would announce, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Rick the Model Martel, and then each one would have something short to say about the Royal Rumble and how they're going to win it and what it means to them, even if it's just character stuff, you know, about winning the Royal Rumble. That would be something. Now these guys get put in stuff and they have no interest in talking about it, no interest in building it up, hyping it up or anything. It's just, they exist. Well, I'm here now. I'm in the tournament. Let's go. And then they'll have a guy cut a promo, and that's the guy that gets beat. Damian Priest is the guy who talks, so he's definitely the one who's going to lose. The Miz is the guy who talks, so he's definitely the one that's going to lose. And that's exactly what fucking happened. Well, I guess Cody talked too, and he also lost. So I guess it was better for you to shut the fuck up during this tournament, because if you said anything, you were more likely going to lose. Which is not the way you should be doing things. We should be building people up, you know. I'm talking character development, like legit character development. All right, let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship Tournament, because this is actually infinitely better than the tournament for the WWE World Heavyweight title thing. So they put out a bracket, and it's 8 women, and the bracket reads as such. Gigi Dolan versus Tiffany Stratton. That's going to be fun. I like that idea. That's good. That to me could be the finals, but that's good. It's the first round. Roxanne Perez versus JC Jane. That could also be pretty fun too, if we're being honest. I like that. Lyra Valkyria versus Kiana James. Okay. That works, I think. Fallon Henley versus Cora Jade. Okay. I like that too. It's pretty clear, from the way that they book in this tournament that they're just going to go with the feuds. So as you can look at it, you can see Lyra Valkyria and Cora Jade have been feuding. So you can just pretty much say they're going to win those matches. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane have been feuding, but also Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton have been feuding. So the left side of the bracket is actually very strong. And, looking at this thing, I'm saying you should probably go with Tiffany Stratton versus Lyra Valkyria as the main event. I mean, as the end of the tournament, with Tiffany Stratton winning the title. I'm even okay with Lyra Valkyria winning the title. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, which I think Cora Jade is a solid number 2 pick from Tiffany Stratton. But I certainly think Tiffany Stratton she should have won the title a long time ago. Cora Jade winning the title would be fine. But I don't like the idea of either heel winning the title without beating Indy Hartwell. I think if we're going to have a heel champion, they should have beat Indy Hartwell. So if they're going to have a babyface champion who's going to win the tournament, I think either Lyra Valkyria or Gigi Dolan is a good choice. Lyra Valkyria is good, but she's seemingly pigeonholed in sort of the mid-card spot, and they're not really going to let her through. I think they really do want Gigi Dolan to break through the glass, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't win the tournament. But I'm thinking this whole thing, because the finals is May 28th, which is the day after, what was that? Night of Champions. So it's the day after Night of Champions. So they got Saturday and Sunday pay-per-views, I think, coming up. So this ought to be fun. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it at NXT, but this is for people who probably weren't paying attention. And because they're clearly going to have some tournament matches tomorrow night on NXT. So I just wanted to get my general thoughts of the tournament. Like, this is a real tournament, you know. Top contenders are involved with this. There's a couple of people who are beatable in there, like Kiana James and Fallon Henley. But pretty much everybody in the tournament, there aren't any losers in the tournament. Like, Lyra Valkyria lost the last big match she was in, but she lost via cheating. But there aren't any like jobbers or jobberillos or anything like that in it. It's not a stupid battle royal. It's not a ladder match or anything like that. So it's got some promise to it. I really wish that we could have done the World Heavyweight title tournament in a similar fashion. Even if we ended up with the same thing in terms of Seth Rollins as the champion, I would have preferred singles matches, because at least I could get into those. I can't get into a triple threat match. I think they suck. So, in any event, Monday Night Raw was not a fitting follow-up for an electric Backlash. And I know that some people set themselves up for failure, thinking that, WWE, these crowds now, how they're going to compete with Puerto Rico. I knew that energy couldn't be maintained, and it wasn't going to stay that way. But as per the usual, it's probably going to be weak-ass crowds until the pay-per-view. Then the crowds will be live again, because they're actually going to get to see stuff that matters. So, unfortunately, considering they're blowing their load, or they blew their load on this tournament, it's going to go by pretty quickly, and next week we're just going to be sitting around saying, okay, what now? We got Brock, the tournament's over, because now we have the top guys. What do we do now? And that's going to be the question, So, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Mongo Slave.